Emotional triggers are a common challenge in recovery, but learning how to manage them and actually understanding them can lead to lasting changes. Let's dive into ways to build and handle them effectively. But before talking about all of that, who am I? My name is Wesley, and my mission is to help prevent 1,000 men from killing themselves because of porn addiction, literally getting to suicidal thoughts because of this porn addiction. These are my type of videos, and if that interests you, make sure you subscribe. Also, have you noticed this? You wake up in the morning and you feel tired. You already lack energy even though you just spent a full night sleeping. You lack motivation to start new tasks. You have things to do to accomplish your goals. You have tasks set up. You have homework in school. You have to go to the gym. But what happened? You lack motivation. You don't have motivation to do anything else but staying at home, fapping to porn. And you know what? If you really take a moment to think about it, the only thing that you have motivation to do is fap. Because every day, you don't miss a day, you fap every day to porn at least once. And you have big motivation too, right? Your motivation to fap is so big that you can't even stop while you want. You want to stop, you want to get free from this porn addiction, but you can't even stop because of this so high of a motivation to do it. And this is a big problem in your life because all the time that you put towards porn and all the distraction that it causes to your brain, the unhealthy brain, your lack of motivation, of energy, of confidence, all of this results in big troubles inside of your life. You feel like the only way to be happy is to go and fap. You have problems managing your stress effectively, managing your anxiety effectively. You have problems being not depressed because if you don't have your porn session, you will feel depressed. You will feel like you are not happy anymore. And that's because porn addiction has remodeled your brain into thinking that you need porn in order to survive. But you don't. You were living before porn, right? At like 10, you were living right before porn. And I swear, you could be living without porn again. But being free is hard. And in order for you to actually succeed, you need accountability from someone that knows what are your struggles, such as a coach. And a specific coach is me. I know probably what you're going through. Not exactly. That's why I need your help. I need to be in a call with you to actually learn your story. But I know the ways, the coping mechanism to actually free you in the fastest time possible. And I want you free. I want you to taste the freedom from porn addiction before actually choosing yourself. I'm not choosing for you. Do you want to stay free or do you want to go back to your porn? You can go back to porn, right? I just never heard of it because when I free someone, he always chooses to stay free. But I want you to be the one testing this. I want you to taste freedom for like a month. And then when you have your healthy brain, now you make the choice. Do you want to stay free or do you want to go back to porn? At this point, it is your choice, it's not mine. But I just want you to be able to taste freedom because there's people that will never taste freedom in their life. And I find it sad. And this brings them depression, which will kill them in the later. They will suicide because of this. Because they don't feel happy anymore. And even fapping doesn't bring them happiness. So I don't want it to be your case. If you're actually interested towards that, interested into freeing yourself and actually trying something that works, first thing down in the description. And that I'll continue directly with the video about the emotional triggers. The emotional triggers, what it is yourself reacting to something, an event, a moment, something that happened in your life, and you have kind of a big response to it. And it's oftentimes because of your feelings or memories of a certain topic. And this often leads to you having impulsive behaviors towards unhealthy habits such as porn, as I listed, but a lot of times it could also be like alcohol to kind of I'm sure you already learned this, right? You see this major a guy that broke up with his girl that's been like 5 years that they were together, and what happened? He starts going in the club and drinking alcohol. That's a prime example of what I'm trying to show you. People, to seek comfort, they turn to unhealthy habits. And another one is video games. This was kind of part of my life. Well, I was playing a lot of video games, but I mean the exact thing. You're kind of escaping reality. What happened is that your reality right now does not please you. It's not attractive to you right now. You don't have the things you want, right? You don't have the money you want. Maybe you don't even have the girl you want. You're stuck maybe with a girl that you don't even love. But for financial reasons, you have to stay together. Or for social reasons, like maybe you really like her father, but you don't really like her, but you're obligated to stay with her to continue to see her father. Yes, I already heard that from someone, so that's why I'm kind of making the example. But you get what I mean. And yourself playing video games is passing time and escaping yourself from that reality that you don't like towards a reality that you like. Maybe that in your game you are a superhero who's saving everyone. Maybe that in your game you're actually the best. So this sense of greatness that you get from playing video games is creating yourself a reason to go back to playing video games and escaping yourself from reality, because maybe that in reality what happened is that you're not the best and you feel like you can't become the best. You don't want to work on yourself, don't want to work on your goals. So playing video games is an unhealthy habit. It's okay to play video games, right? But it's still unhealthy. It's not as bad as drugs and alcohol and porn, but it's still an unhealthy habit, and it's one that the major part of guys do. And what happened with that is that when you have this sense of accomplishment coming through video games, it removes the need for you to actually accomplish the same thing in life. So what happened is that you're less kind of motivated to do the same things in life because you already did it once in your video games. So in your mind, he's kind of tired of having to do it again. So he prefers to just go and play video games, and video games take way less effort than actually living your life and doing real changes in your life. So anyway, this was the big part, but you kind of see how stress and the things that you imagine, they can lead the memories, the feelings, to unhealthy habits in order for you to kind of try to resolve them. Even though it's not the good thing to do. The good thing to do would be to use good habits. But you're kind of turning to bad habits because it's way easier. And sometimes it's the first thing that comes to mind, right? For example, when you have stress, what happened? You think of porn. Because you think, oh, when I'm coming, when I'm ejaculating, what happened? I feel this big crash, this big down. And this removes all the stress one shot. Because you're not even having enough energy to actually go and do productive things. When you just came, what happened? You go on your bed and you lay down because you're feeling so calm and everything. But that's just for 2 hours. So that's a temporary solution to a permanent problem. What happened after? You just go and you receive back your stress because it's not resolved. It didn't help with your situation. It only postponed it. It was there and you put the stress there, and this time between you were calm and everything, but now your stress is back. And now what happened? Oftentimes you just relapse again. You go and flop again so that your stress is put to the tomorrow. And now tomorrow you have even more stress. Whereas if you had an healthy brain, so you are not doing unhealthy habits, your stress is well managed. So there is stress that's coming out, but it's not stressful. Yes, you have stress, but it's not stressful. It's well managed by your healthy brain, and you can just continue living your life. But you can't taste this if you're not free, because you have an unhealthy brain right now that is addicted to porn and used to have such big dopamine hits that it's unable to do his main jobs, which is to manage your emotions in a great way. Now, I listed yourself some bad habits that usually people go to when they have emotions that they have to manage. But now I list good habits, right? What are you supposed to do? It's good to know what people do usually, but what are they supposed to do? And that's the reason you came for on this video. So if for example, I won't list every emotion and what you have to do. I'll list the main things that you have to do in order for you to actually manage your emotions well and replace those bad habits that you have. For example, you can go and use meditation or journaling. These are the two big ones. What happens is that when you journal, you write down the things that you're thinking about. So this removes all your stress, because your stress is mainly coming from the fact that your brain has to remember things because he's afraid of forgetting them. But when you write it down, your brain thinks about it and thinks, oh, because it's written down, I don't need to remember it, because even if I really want to remember it, I just have to open this book and like the answer is there. So what happened is that he changed his memory from what you have to remember to, okay, that information is already stored in somewhere, so I don't have to store it also in my mind. And the only thing that it stores now is, okay, I wrote it on page like 47. So all you have to remember is, okay, that book have what I'm searching for if I'm ever going to search for that information again. And what happened is that throughout your life, if you continue to do this over and over, every time you have something bad that you're thinking about, some stressful situation happen, something happen, when you write it down, your brain leaves that information alone, and that's great for you because it makes you, first of all, forget about it, and makes you think about something else, so you kind of don't have negative feelings in your life. The same applies, that's a big trick, before going to bed. When sometimes you go to bed, people that do insomnia, they think about a lot of things, a lot of situations that could have happened, and how would they have responded to things like that. The biggest trick that I can recommend you is actually to grab a paper and write on it. Like, put it just right beside your bed. And even though it's dark, yes, you won't have the best like writing, but still write in the dark. You take the piece of paper or the book or anything, and you write on it the thing that you're thinking right now. I swear I did this because before like way before, like 4 years ago, I was having problems sleeping, and it was one of those nights where I was thinking about all of things. And even though my writing is already not really that beautiful, but now in the dark it was even more like difficult to write. But I still did it because I knew that it was working. So I tested it first myself, right? And I was in the dark writing everything that I was thinking about. And the tomorrow morning when I read, I kind of write well. Like in the dark, I don't know how. But it kind of made me able to actually sleep. Because now my mind wasn't wandering around about all the situation. It was written down. So my mind knew that because I had written it down, I didn't need to think about it anymore. It's written down. If I ever need the answer to this, I just need to read what I written down. So the same applies in this. When you have a bad emotion, you journal it. And meditation, the same applies. Meditation makes you a calmer person in general and someone that is more self-aware. By doing meditation a lot, you don't develop this if you only do one meditation every 1 month, right? You have to do this continuously, every day, regularly. But by doing this a lot, what happens is that you become such a calm person, where even in stressful situation, you can keep your calm and know what to do. Someone just died in front of your eyes, and he's there laying down. Someone that does meditation a lot, that has a calm and cold-blooded person, he knows what to do, right? Tack, 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 I'll call this, tack, 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 and he's analyzing everything. Whereas someone that never does meditation, what happens? He looks at the dead body and kind of start to freak out and start shaking, and now there's someone in front of him with a gun pointing it towards him, and what happened? He freezes. He don't know what to do. He's just there freeze. Whereas the person that does meditation a lot, he's a big self-aware. He sees the gun, either he starts running or he starts talking directly. He's not freeze, right? He's not there and shaking. He's in control of his emotions, control of the situation, because he's calm. And even though it's a stressful situation, he's just there calm because he's used to being calm by meditation. So meditation, you can see how it really can impact your life. That was just a random situation. And with your emotion in general, because you're developing self-awareness, you're able to actually manage them super effectively. What happens is that if stress comes your way, you're able to actually identify directly what's the root of that stress. Where is it coming from? And then from that, you're able to actually find directly the solution to your problem and kind of limit the stress that comes your way, right? Because you're self-aware, you know where your lack are, where are your defaults and your flaws and your qualities. So because of that, you know what to work on, and it's easier for you to actually improve. All of that just because you did meditation, like 5 minutes a day, every day. That's the everyday part is hard because 5 minutes, it's nothing. 5 minutes meditation is really, really easy. It's doing it every day. That's the hard part, and that's where the majority of people actually lack. And in every video, I actually mention the support. So I actually also mention support in your emotional triggers. Having someone by your side that you're able to talk to. It can be your friend, can be your family, it can be a coach, it can be anyone, right? Having someone to talk to that is always there for you when you need it. When you have these emotional triggers that might lead to a relapse, right? But oftentimes lead to your unhealthy habit. Having someone to talk about it with you can demystify what happened, and maybe even sometimes he will give you a great advice to maybe prevent them from happening or managing them more effectively in the future. So what happened is that maybe right now you were having big urges, big wanting to go and relapse, but just because you talked about it with someone that knows what he's talking about, now you didn't even relapse. So maybe you will go 2 weeks further into your recovery just because you talked with someone that knew what he was talking about. That is big progress. And by doing this a lot and a lot, what happened is that at a point you will reach 5 months without even going to FAP. And that's like super good, right? So on that, I'll actually ask you to take care of yourself.